we have with us David Weinstock. David and I actually have not met before, unlike the, I got you, Pete. Okay, no microphone or camera. Clear. Um, both of the speakers this morning were coaches of mine or former coaches of mine. So I had that background of relatedness, and I'm just very honored to have you here. I'm gonna let's see, I'm gonna let people know what there is officially to know about yourself, and then you can share anything beyond that. So David
Sure.
Weinstock is a nonviolent communication trainer, a somatic coach, a goldsmith, and an Aikido teacher. He's the founder and director of Liminal Somatics, founder and executive director of Liminal Somatics, and author of Becoming What You Need.
Hmm.
Created somatic consensus, a body-based approach for resolving conflict and building authentic community, and has shared these practices in schools, prisons, businesses, and organizations worldwide. In 1990, David and his wife Judith, along with 8 other families, co-founded an intentional community in Washington where consensus and intergenerational living continue to shape daily life. I have some special envy about that, and that I joined an intentional living community in 1992 and left in
Huh?
1994. And um, it certainly shaped the disillusionment of that experience, shaped a lot of
Oh,
my subsequent work. And I live with one person who I'm related to biologically at this time. Um,
hmm.
so let's see. Yeah, well, actually, I think kind of the first question is, what is liminal somatics? And what is somatic consensus? Like, what's the
Well,
true
okay.
definition of your work?
Good question. First of all, I just want to say thank you for inviting me,
Oh,
and
you're
I'm
welcome.
glad to be here with you and the others who are here. And when you spoke, it just reminds me of something recently, like last night, in one of our numerous meetings in our intentional community now
Yeah.
of 35 years. But one thing that someone said to me about 5, 6, 7 years into the community, because I said I was feeling really disillusioned.
Mm-hmm.
And what she said to me was, that is a stage of the learning of intentional community. And when you think about the word
Illusion.
disillusionment, you're losing illusions because we walk into this idea of community with lots of illusions. And just as we do with, marriage or
With
children,
romance, yeah. That's the
anything. But
obvious metaphor. Yeah.
yeah. So, at any rate, that really saved me. Just that reframe of the word. So I just was moved to share that.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Yeah. Somebody I really admire, Yafa AS, who is a Palestinian, a queer, trans, autistic Palestinian thought
Mhm.
leader, writes about utopia and says, "Don't idealize utopia," which like sounds like a paradox. How can you not idealize utopia? But
Yeah.
the thing is, if utopia has to be unreal, then reality can't live in the same place. And same with
Yeah.
community, same with romantic love, with marriage, same with any
Children.
way we want
Hmm.
things to be good. We also have
Yeah.
to make space for them to be real. So
Yeah.
that's really profound.
Thank you. I agree. So you asked me about my organization called Liminal Somatics and my work called Somatic Consensus. Um, and as long as as if since activism is also a centerpiece, grounded activism, I'd like to connect it to that
Yeah.
um, because those two things are my journey on my path, life path as an activist. Um, so, hmm, hmm, big question. So
No, I
there
was
was
just shrugging. Yeah,
no,
sounds
no.
like a big question.
I think it's great. No, I'm shaping the answer because I think
Oh,
it's a
okay. Okay.
good way to go into it.
Yeah.
Um, I think that for any of us to find our power, I mean, our real power,
Mhm.
we have to know the thing that we were never asked in school growing up and practice it, which is, what do you care about? I mean, what do you really love? Almost nobody is asked that in school growing up. Were
Mm.
you, Alice?
I was asked, what do you want to be?
Yeah,
Which is different.
it is a little bit.
And for me, there was room to answer all the things I cared about. Well, maybe
Hmm.
I'll be a trapeze artist. Maybe I'll be an elementary school teacher. Um, but yeah, what do you most care about? Probably not.
It's one of those questions I find I ask everybody when I'm working with them because it's an organizing thing to organize ourselves around, you know, the thing that organizes us the most in our bodies, which is our hearts. This um, uh, as it pulses, it integrates ourselves and others. So it's a very powerful oscillator, much more than the head. So there was a time where my children had just grown up, and I was like, I'm as a goldsmith, and I was always an activist on the side, but I wanted to be more of a contribution in the world. And I was like, what do I do? And one friend said, well, what do you care about? And I was
Mm,
like, I could answer that. And what is it that you never, ever get tired of?
mm,
And the thing that I never, ever got tired of was the part about teaching in Aikido, which is, I've been in that for decades, which is the art of harmonizing relationships. That's what it is. Uh, and as I was teaching that, I was developing who I wanted to be. What I did on the mat is who I wanted to be off the mat, and vice versa. So I was developing practices and for who I wanted to be, and sharing practices that help people who become who they want to be. And I love that. And I devoted, once I landed on what I really care about, my whole life's work up to that point started to funnel into this work that I now call somatic consensus. And
mm,
what somatic consensus is, well, first of all, the word consensus is, again, a really deep listening and coming up with strategies and ways of being from that connected listening. And in my community of 35 years, we have practiced that consensus. And the thing that is so important to that work is listening into ourselves too. So it's somatic consensus is mind, body, energetic, parts of ourselves that come together through what's meaningful. And so to create an inner unity is the most effective ways to create a unity around us. When we move from that place of inner consensus, um, we create that around us. We transmit our state of being, and that is the most powerful communication we have, who we are. And so I developed a set of practice based in nonviolent communication, somatic work, community practices, and Aikido. And they're all life practices. And I basically took the parts from each and then other parts of my life, the creative end of being a goldsmith and such. And liminal somatics, we got all these words, liminal, somatics, consensus. A lot of people don't know what they mean, but liminal is a threshold on a door. And as you walk into new places in your life, you're always crossing thresholds. And that's scary to walk into the unknown. And again, if you want to make changes in the world, sometimes it's very scary. We got to move through a lot of stuff in ourselves. So to cross that threshold, um, you have to know what you care about because that's the ground you come back to when you get lost, and we all get lost. And from that place, that's what gives us the inspiration, the groundedness to walk into places we don't know and to affect changes that we would love. Liminal somatics. That's what that is.
So aligning ourself or a whole self at the threshold so we can step through the threshold.
Yeah, and still, and not
Want.
lose ourselves, not lose who we are. Again, be unified in ourselves. But also, it's really a difficult thing for people to step into what they don't know. But that's life. So instead of trying to control everything and have things certain ways, be more ourselves, more relaxed, more aware, and more open.
Super great. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
look at the questions you wrote, and I feel like you might have answered some of them. And yeah, how do we find our ground, our center, our organizing principle? I feel like you've touched on that. Is there anything you want to add about that?
Well, a lot of what I love to share are experiential practices because it brings the focus from here down. This is important too, but usually this part of us often takes over, especially. It's what we learn. We learn to think over feeling. And the feeling part is really what integrates us. The head part, you ever notice how it can go around and around in circles?
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, I guess, another part of my history that connects to what we're talking about is as an activist. I began first, I went and traveled for years, honestly. Or after I became a goldsmith, a journeyman, I was like, okay, I'm going to go travel now. And I traveled for years and I wanted to see how we're the same and how we're different as humans around the world. It's a question I still carry a lot, but I can answer it pretty well for myself. Those places that are our deeper needs we all share. And a lot of the strategies for getting those needs are pretty different. But to connect there. And I it was around the time of the Reagan years where a lot of things that are in place now in our culture that are very scary were seeded and took root, especially in the distribution of wealth and the taking down of certain things, but also, you know, missiles across Europe, for example. Things were pretty intense. And I came home with a dedication to work for peace. And um, and I could have all the information in the world. I knew how many missiles there were, and I knew what the different treaties were, and what was broken, and who was doing this, and what was. And I literally, I'd go door to door, and I started organizations and was a part of big organizations back then. And I realized that no matter what I said, people could listen to me, but to really change them, to change their thinking, took something different. It took more than me trying to convince them or educate them.
Mm-hmm.
It took it took well, it took all of me, much more than my thinking. If I tried to, I could outthink people and I could try to convince them, but to show up fully with, literally with my head, heart, and belly in unison, my feet on the ground, the ancestors at my back, and all my relationships around me. And then to speak to people from that place was the best place I could move. But I had to be moved. So as I was moved by what I was who I was and what I was sharing, that was the best chance of moving others. And that is also a pretty foundational part of my work that I call somatic consensus.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So again, by being unified in yourself, there's a space for you to unify with another. In this case, there's a space for another to hear you.
Yeah. Again, like draws like. So by being open and receptive, which really is one of the hardest things to do sometimes when I'm triggered and invested in something, but to be resourced in a way where I can be with someone and connect to that part of them that we have in common. That's comes first. It's like connection first, and then the conversations happen with the
Conversation about
least,
content.
yeah, it has the least amount of resistance, but it has to be genuine too. So,
And we need to be not resisting them in order for there to be connection as well, right? We need to not resist ourselves, and we need to not resist them, and they have space to not resist.
yeah, yeah. Well, and that is the hardest thing. The hardest thing in this work is to get out of our own way. Get our judgments out of there. Just to be right there with someone.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the questions, and that's one of the questions. How do we work with our resistance to be effective?
Okay, you wanna play?
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
offer something that you and the listeners, we can only do. We gotta have half hour, right, or 15 minutes or something. So just something that people can take home and play with, and
Okay.
not only play with. Well, this one's my wife's favorite. My wife Judith. We're both trainers in nonviolent communication, and we have plenty of arguments, and there's no illusions. And we've been married now 40 years, so something's working. But um, this is a practice she enjoys. Um, it One thing I think most of us learn is that if someone is talking to us, we're supposed to take it. And if you're standing in front of me, Alice, can I work with you on this one? I mean, I could do
Yeah.
volunteers, but
Yep. I'm here.
okay. See how this works. Okay. And I'm saying, if you could tell me something that might be a little bit triggering, just a little bit, and imagine who I was and I'm saying it. So you don't even have to tell me. Just imagine I'm that person and I'm pointing directly at you and I'm saying that thing that is really triggering. Okay. When I do that, you got that imagined? I'm that person. Okay. I can already hear your voice go, mm-hmm. Okay. So when I do that, what happens to you in your body?
Yeah, in my body, I've got tightness in my rib cage. I'm pulling away. Well, you can hear tightness in my voice.
Okay,
I'm
that's good enough. Good
okay.
enough for right now. This is what happens to all of us. We have these, what I call core strategies. They're usually old. They're usually things we've practiced in our lives. On the good side, they're there to help us, even they don't feel like they're helping us. There's a way to turn towards them, but we would do that in another session. For right now, we could just leave it at every strategy we have is in service to life, but some strategies need updating. Okay, so here we go. This is the revolutionary piece. Okay, ready? Now, I want to make this super clear. This is a practice that you can explore, but at the same time, it's something you internalize. You don't actually do this physically with a person, but I want you to try it physically so you can understand what we're doing. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so ready? Now I'm that person again. And what I want you to do is simply this. I want you to turn your body and move off the line of attack. Wait, but not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. And just to make it even more, open your arms. This is called wind, okay? So you're going to go like this, and you're going to get off the line. You're not going to move farther away. You're not going to move closer. You just get a different perspective. And watch this. And then, so now you're off the train tracks, right? Don't let any of it touch you. Don't let any of this touch you. Good. See where it comes from and watch it go by. Okay, so I'm that person, and you're going to do this. See where it comes from, watch it go by. It's like watching a train go by. And imagine I'm getting louder, and I'm saying that thing that it's bugging you. See where it comes from, watch it go by. And furthermore, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, when you're doing that, Alice, what goes on in your body now?
Um, there's a little, yeah, it's not the tightness, it's not the pulling back. There's a little bit of like maybe sadness in my belly, like,
Okay. So
yeah,
a couple
but
things here
much
from,
less.
thank you. From that simple little practice, first of all, when you tighten up in the first place, when you're right taking it, when you're taking what I'm saying personally, you're reacting. And then first you react and then the words come out. And no matter what, if I'll exaggerate for a second, if I am contracted in emotional historical pain, which is what that was, and I'm saying all the nice words, Alice, it's really a pleasure to be here right now with you. And I'm enjoying this, this open conversation immensely. And I just hope that we can meet again. Notice how that feels when I'm tight versus how it feels when I'm really here. This is what I mean by we transmit our state of being. It's so much. It's more than our words generally are communicating.
Yeah.
So wind is just what my wife does and I do. If we have the wherewithal to get off the train tracks sometimes, we'll go wind. And what that signals to each of us is no, not that we're just trying to get away, but that we are wanting to be here. We're doing this. We have the wherewithal to go, whoa, I'm going to stop taking your tragic expression of your deep needs personally. I'm going to let it go by so I can be here in a better way with you. And when you are there, you moved from anger,
No fear. It was fear.
fear and anger to sadness. And fear and anger, they tell you you're alive. That's really important stuff. But sadness really but anger and fear is not the best way for connection. But sadness can become a direct route to connecting to self and other. So wind is when you don't know what to do, you can always check out wind. And if you don't want to do this, you can just do this, huh? A little bit of a little micro movement. Just turn your head and go, yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. What are you saying there? That's wind. That's a practice.
Oh, that's so good. It's so
Mhm.
good. Um, yeah, and the conversations I've been having have not been that I was thinking of. I'll just say a little bit with my Zionist cousin, have not actually been face to face. So I can choose my posture, if it's on the internet or on the phone. I have the freedom to actually do it. And I got that, like, there's the option to do it a little bit and do it symbolically just to.
On the phone, it can work. Again, just to fill that out a little bit more, I mean, there's a lot more to it. That's just one little piece. The second piece is really this. It gives you the space to self-connect, remember what you care about. Like when you're talking to that person across the waves and they have a different opinion, can I ask you, this would be the question I'd ask everybody who's listening to answer for themselves, not necessarily today, because you move to wind so you can ground. And because you cannot ground when you're all um, triggered in emotional, historical stuff. But the question you got to get back to is, what is it what's the ground you stand on? So as you cross that liminal threshold, what is it that matters to you in all your relationships? This is like you have different strategies for people, but it's one standard for who you are. What
Yeah,
is it that you, yeah,
it's care for all.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I have care for all. And what quality, if you had to break care for all into its different colors, what might they be?
Yeah. Um, caring about people's safety.
Safety.
There's equality. Um, Safety, equality, and huh. No, I have a couple. I have gentleness and inclusion, or what just came up. So
Lovely. Yeah, those matter to you, right? Yeah. And again, just my question often when I ask that is, are you sure? And
hmm.
yeah, yeah. And there's a solid yes in there. And so this is where you move to wind and you remember what you care about. And in that calmer state, you can listen better and speak your truth with more um, with with a more integrated self. Again, the more relaxed you are in your system, the more aware and integrated you can be.
And you didn't say this, but when I'm imagining it, my care, my gentleness and inclusion can extend to my cousin.
That
Right,
your
the person I
gentleness and your yeah, they'll feel
extends to
that.
the person I'm talking to. Right, like that. I care about his safety, and I'm going to be gentle and inclusive in the way that I express that.
Exactly. And by being that, you'll transmit that. And by practicing it, you'll get to know. So yeah, one of the things that I love to bring, I'm noticing time. So
Yep.
I just
Oh,
want to
oh.
just share. Uh, um, I don't know. I have lots of practices on my website, and I have an online learning community. People are welcome to. If you want to share my website, but on it, one of the things I would love people to continue from what we're talking about is there is a somatic way to practice these qualities so they become more. They teach you what they are. Gentleness for the rest of your life, it can be your teacher as far as what is this, and in a certain way to embody it more and then transmit it more. And I mean, these words you're speaking, they're all words that describe life, which is pretty infinite to me. That's how I understand it. But
Hmm.
my company is liminalsomatics.com, and that learning community it's a thing.
Yeah, I was just about to say, share with everybody about your free gift. Let's see if we have it in the chat. Nope. Oh wait, maybe I'm looking the wrong place. Oh yeah, that you did just share. So free gift, 30-day free to your online learning community. So
Wow.
great.
Thank you. I didn't put that in there. I hear David on grounding to the deep need that matters to us. And, right. But why is it so hard to connect with it in me? And can I just say one sentence to that? Again,
Time.
none of us rarely ask directly, what do you care about? This is we're really rewarded by how well we think or punished, but this is not really valued in our educational system, and consequently, we use it less, it becomes more atrophied. So these kind of questions to ourselves on a regular basis. What matters to you? That's a thing that you can reclaim. It takes time, and it's really worthwhile. This empathic faculty for listening, not only to ourselves, but to life.
And we actually do have time for question and answer if anybody.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we have 15 minutes for question and answer.
Oh,
So let me just back up and tie it in a bow what we just said about you. So David's offering a free gift. My assistant Julio put it in the chat, which is 30 days in the online community that David was just describing. Do you want to say anything else about it?
No, I think it's said enough. I'd be happy to have questions or, offer a practice of sorts.
Great. So I think one option, are you still here, CJ? Yeah, CJ, if you want to come off mute and interact with David, you can. And if anybody has any other like questions or requests, we have almost 15 minutes.
CG, you want to come on and we could talk about that for a second? I'm sure you're not the only one with that question.
Sure. And yet I'm also conscientious of the other people have other kinds of questions.
You're literally the only person who has asked a question. Oh, wait, no, Hannah has now asked a question, and there's time for two.
Fantastic.
It's a wonderful question, but you want to ask it again in your own way?
I think that is the best without having to go into story. I think what
Good.
I've heard you share that exercise in an NVC Academy course in the past and recent actually, and I did try practicing it. I'm also reading Marshall Rosenberg's book again, and so chapter 1 talks about giving from the heart, and I'm combining what you're saying with that chapter and starting to sense a deep, deep sadness that when I look into my heart and I'm yelling at my son for not doing something, that there's no love in the heart. And it gives me great sadness because I think that I do these corrections because I care deeply for him, for his well-being.
Yeah.
So yes, so this whole like let it pass and connect with what you deeply care about. And in that moment, I've been practicing a little bit of letting it pass, but then connecting to what matters to me just gets lost.
I hear you. So can I offer a practice that actually you can start small, but really it's not small. So I say that because sometimes we want to get everything fixed, but things take time to grow and build. And that's just one of the learnings about life.
Yes.
But so can I ask you a couple quick questions? And other people who are listening, you try this or just listen.
Okay.
If you when you think about what you would love to cultivate more in your life, like Alice was talking about these qualities that she loves.
Mhm.
What is one quality that would really serve you in the way you would love to, be the parent you might want to, you would love to be? What is one quality, one word you'd love to have a little more what?
Tenderness.
Okay, thank you. So tenderness, if I ask everybody here, which I say, who doesn't need tenderness in their lives? You can be assured everybody needs tenderness. Okay, that's what in NVC, that discipline, that's what qualifies as a need. And if a need is a word that describes life, it's pretty infinite. So like imagine that this quality of tenderness is life, and it's a teacher. So with that, try this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You sit up if you're comfortable doing that. But in I like this because it's head, heart, belly, and aligned with my highest and my deepest. And go like this. Just go, ah, yeah. And I like making a sound, but again, if you're self-conscious about it, don't worry about it. you know, that's a unifying thing for your system. Now ask yourself this question. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot your name. Please see, is it CG?
CG.
Okay, CG. So CG, ask yourself without knowing the answer. Don't worry about it. Ask yourself, how would it feel right now if I just had a tiny bit more of that tenderness that I love? Just a tiny bit. How would that feel? And ask your body that. What'd you notice there? What'd you notice?
Oh, it's like this spring with a leak. It just kind of like a spurt. Spurt.
Uh, so it's a good feeling.
It is. There's a warmth.
Where's the warmth?
Ooh, around my shoulders, around my
I'm
heart.
sorry. CG, you're not on video, but I don't know. So I don't know if we can spotlight you, but can you raise your hand? Because every time you speak, I can't even see your square. Thank you. Great.
Okay.
No,
Then you'll
thank you.
stay at
No,
the top no matter what happens. Thank you.
yeah, but I'm hoping that everybody listening, you could feel what CG is feeling. You could hear it in her voice. She's transmitting that warmth and that spurt. Wait, where did you say the warmth was?
All over the shoulders, neck, around the heart. It started out amazingly in the belly, and then it went up to the heart and shoulders.
So this is your body talking to you. The places where you're loosening up and opening up are places that you are holding tighter out of protection. This is old stuff generally. So, and everybody has it. There's nothing wrong with you. It's more that, oh, this is your body giving you information. You're feeling safe now. You ask your body a question. It actually wants to give you an answer. That is and that was about 20 seconds worth, CG. That was where your where life is giving you information about what tenderness is. Now imagine doing that every single day for 3 minutes, for a month, with just the word tenderness, which by the way is an excellent word to be working with, quality. Imagine what it could teach you. And again, if you wanted to, go into my learning community, you'll find lots of videos around all that, how to process that information, those younger parts of ourselves that have these old strategies. When we're a kid, we all have these. It's sort of like being a kid is like growing up in a room with the doorknob only on the outside, and we come up with all these unusual strategies. Well, now as adults, we can update them, but the first thing we have to do is turn towards those places with tenderness. Those younger parts of ourselves that are, we have to work with them instead of against them. So first, now just know that your body, even those things that feel like tightness, they're trying to help you. And if you turn towards them to listen, you can reintegrate them, and they can actually become resources instead of reactions. I'm wondering if what I'm saying makes sense, CG.
Yes, very much so. Yes, yes. And I would like to try it.
Please do. Please do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Was there another question?
There was another
Claudia?
question. Yeah, let me find it. Okay, let's see. How do you prepare to what you expect to be a difficult conversation? From Hannah.
How do I prepare? Well,
And
I will.
Hannah, do you want to come on audio? We do have time to interact with you if you want. You just went off video and now you're on audio.
Yeah, I hope that's fine.
That's all fine. It's all fine.
Because of recordings.
Okay, clear.
What I'm not specifically asking you, but like, do you have advice on how to prepare for something that makes you nervous?
Yeah, I have lots of those, and I still get nervous, but I can do things that help. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I mean, there are so many things that I do in life that make me nervous, and yet I still manage to do them. But there are those things that are just way above the manageable stress levels. And
Yeah.
just to speak now kind of is a heightened stress moment for me.
I understand. Thank you for the courage to ask your question here today. I want to say that there is nothing more connective than people who are speaking through their fears to connect with me. That is a leadership quality, first of all, and a very powerful thing if you're an activist. You know, that's something I notice all the time. That is, I can say, is important. I believe is a very important quality. Um, so um, I think one of the things that I do, and again, you know, it's with 3 minutes left. Um, this might not make sense, but I would like to just see if I can impart it. How's that sound?
Yeah, great, thanks.
Do you get the sense a lot of times that if you got to get something done, you got to do it alone?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, do there's the people in front of you that that care about and the people who walk beside you. What about the people behind you, like the ancestors and stuff? You think about that much?
That strikes a nerve. Yeah, I can't get into it, but yeah.
Well, here's the practice, and again, a little is a lot. You've already touching it, so I know it's a lot. So don't do too much, just a little. Here's a little piece, okay? When you think about the quality you would really enjoy more of in your life, that would really help you along, just like the last question we did with CG. What is it that matters to you? Just a word, a quality you'd love to cultivate.
Maybe competence.
Competence, competence. All right. If you had to break down competence into its different colors, if competence was the sixth floor, what would the ground level be
Mm,
that you would love a little more of?
yeah, I don't have a word for it, but like being able to express myself without needing to cringe or become smaller.
I think that word would be confidence, not instead of
Yeah,
competent.
okay.
Confidence. Yeah, that sound right?
Yeah.
So if you could think of someone who came before you, someone older than you, alive or not, doesn't matter. We're just using your imagination here. Who has that quality? Can you think of someone who has that confidence that you love?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine that person is standing behind you. And imagine their hands are doing this. I know we're going quick and you don't have to do any of this, but if you want to, imagine their hands are like that, their hands are the back of your chair and just lean back into them. Let those hands support you. Of that person who has that confidence you love. And how's that feel?
Warm.
Warm. What else? What goes on inside of you?
Lightness.
Okay, so this is to me the shape, feeling. It's just of confidence. It's something you spent about 10 seconds And you're mostly space anyways. You could bring that person through you. You don't know what to say, but this person does. That's behind you. So you can create a whole posse, a whole group behind you. Start with one. And this is like empathy through time. Empathy, very likely, is something where we listen not only to the people that are with us, but those who've come and gone and those who in the future. I guess it's more of a quantum field there, but that's a whole nother story. But right now, one way you can prepare to talk in places you're nervous is have those resources at your back. How does that sound?
Sorry, what was the question?
How does that sound that next time you have a difficult thing coming up,
Mm,
you take a moment to remember who's at your back? And by the way, you can even just kind of say, you can ask questions. And you probably get answers, but that's a whole nother thing too. But for right now, just to rest in those behind you now too, that you're not alone. Those who
yeah,
walk beside you and the young ones in front of you.
yeah, that feels supportive.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah,
Thank you for your question. I'm sorry we only had a few minutes for it, but I hope that helped.
thank you, Henry.
Wow, so this has been super fabulous. Let me personally unpin. Anna, you're not Spotlight, you were just pinned for me personally. Gosh, thank you, David. This has been so powerful.